John Bolton taking a hard line on Iran. The Trump administration reinstating some economic sanctions and promising more in the coming months. President Trump making the announcement this morning on Twitter saying, quote, "The Iran sanctions have officially been cast. These are the most biting sanctions ever imposed. And in November, they ratchet up to yet another level. Anyone doing business with Iran will not be doing business with the United States. I am asking for world peace, nothing less." Here now is Nile Gardiner, Margaret Thatcher's Center for Freedom Heritage Foundation director. Now, great to see you in person. Thanks for coming in. So, anyone doing business with Iran will not be doing business with the United States. Great Britain and the rest of Europe do a lot of business with the United States, not so much with Iran. Are they willing to risk cutting off the United States in order for that piddling business they do with Iran?
Yeah, well, I think firstly, the Trump administration is sending the right message here. These sanctions, I think, will be devastating for the Iranian regime, and it will significantly weaken Iran's ability to support terrorism, to support a number of wars across the Middle East.
And in fact, to stay in power because the people are against him right now.
So it will significantly weaken, I think, the Iranian regime. But also, I think the reality is, and many in Europe understand this, that at the end of the day, I think within a few months, practically every single European company will withdraw from the Iranian field. We're already seeing that today. We've seen already 100 European companies indicating they are suspending operations in Iran. Some of the biggest European companies that have invested in Iran. So, for example, Total, Daimler-Benz have announced suspension of their operations.
French and Germany, yeah.
Yeah, and so you're seeing some of the biggest financial entities in the EU now starting to withdraw from the Iranian
Well, let's just put it in context here. Just to take Great Britain alone, their trade with the United States is $56 billion. We export to Great Britain $56 billion. We import from Great Britain $53 billion. They're the numbers, and it's actually greater when you look at Germany. Germany actually exports to the United States over $100 billion worth of stuff. So to give up the United States for the sake of $20 billion in total, the whole trading of Europe and UK is $20 billion with Iran. It's no contest. I mean, yes, you give up Iran for the United States, right?
Absolutely. And there's a lot of tough talk coming from the European Union right now, especially from the European Commission, from the French and the Germans in particular. You know, the reality is, I think that Europe is going to quickly understand that it's not worth it to stay invested in Iran itself. And so despite all the saber rattling that's coming from the European Commission in Brussels, these sanctions are going to steamroller over any EU investment in Iran.
Well, there's a lot of hot air coming from this side of the pond, too. Nancy Pelosi has come out with a tweet essentially saying that the Iran deal has been successful and it'd be a shame to get rid of it right now. Do you think that holds any water with anybody suggesting that Iran deal was successful?
I think the Iran deal has been an absolute disaster, and President Trump has been 100% right to withdraw the United States from the Iran deal. And even within Europe, I think there are deep divisions over the Iran nuclear agreement. There are some European leaders who do not wholeheartedly support the EU's position on this. And without a doubt, the Iran deal greatly strengthened, actually, the position of the Iranian regime, the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism. And so President Trump has laid down the gauntlet to Europe. You know, you either stand with the United States in the face of this barbaric, brutal Iranian regime, or you continue to appease the Iranian regime.
So just to put a button on it, the bottom line is, for all the rhetoric coming out from the Europeans and the UK that they're going to stand by the Iran deal, they're not going to stand by the Iran deal.
I don't think so. And I think that Brexit Britain, in the Brexit era, will break away from EU positions on this. And I think the Iran nuclear deal is dead in the water. It cannot be revived.
Nile Gardiner, great to see you now.
Great to see you,
Thank you so much. Melissa.
Moving from